Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into one of my all-time favorite, most powerful time-saving tools in Excel, Find and Replace. You know the feeling, right? You're staring at this massive spreadsheet, and you have to manually fix the same little error, one tedious cell at a time. It's so frustrating, and it just eats up your day. But what if I told you there's a way better way to handle that? Well, say hello to our hero for today, Find and Replace. It's actually super simple. At its heart, it does two things, and it does them beautifully. First, it's like a search engine for your spreadsheet. It finds exactly what you're looking for. And second, it can instantly swap out what it finds with something new, which saves you a ton of time and makes sure your data is totally consistent. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the basics, then get into the nitty-gritty of just finding data. After that, we'll walk through a real-world example of replacing things. Then we'll unlock some advanced options, play with some wildcard superpowers, and wrap it all up with some really important risks and final tips. So what is this tool, really? Honestly, you should think of it as your secret weapon. It's what you use for cleaning up messy data, for checking your own work, and even for managing complex formulas. It's just a non-negotiable skill if you want to work smarter, not harder, in Excel. All right, so how do you even open this thing? Well, the standard way is right there on the main menu. You just go to the Home tab, look way over on the right for the Editing section, click Find and Select, and then pick Find or Replace. It works, but there's a much faster way. And that faster way, of course, is using keyboard shortcuts. This is the pro move. To just find something, you're going to hit Control+F on Windows or Command+F on a Mac. And to jump straight to replacing stuff, use Control+H on Windows or Command+Shift+H on a Mac. Seriously, these two shortcuts are going to be your new best friends. You'll want to commit them to memory for sure. Okay, let's keep building here, because before we can replace anything, we have to get really good at just finding the data in the first place. This is the critical first step. So when you search for something, you've got two main buttons. Think of Find Next as your personal tour guide. It takes you to each result one by one, jumping from cell to cell. It gives you that local step-by-step view. Find All, on the other hand, is like getting the whole map at once. It pops up a list of every single instance of your search term, giving you a complete global overview of where everything is. All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and see this tool in action. The absolute best way to understand Find and Replace is to see it solve a real problem. Okay, so check this out. We've got a simple inventory list for a retail store. But if you look closely at that product category column, you'll see melon listed a few times. But let's say the company wants to standardize everything and call it watermelon from now on. Our job is to fix this, and we need to do it fast and without any mistakes. Okay, let's walk through this together. Step 1, we hit Control+H to pop open the Replace box directly. Step 2 is where we tell Excel what to do. In that Find What box, we type melon. That's what we're looking for. Then in the Replace With box, we type watermelon. That's the new correct value we want. Now, hold on, because this next part is super important. It's the safety check. Before we go changing everything all at once, we need to verify. So for step 3, we click Find Next. Excel immediately jumps to the first cell it finds with melon in it. And this is so important because, look, we also have a melon baller on our list. We definitely don't want to change that to watermelon baller. So once we see the first match is correct, for step 4, we just click Replace to change only that one cell. Okay, now that we've verified our search is working correctly, we can unleash the real power. For step 5, we confidently click Replace All. And boom, in an instant, Excel zips through the sheet and makes all the changes. It even gives us this nice little pop-up telling us exactly how many replacements it made. And just look at the result on the right, a perfectly clean, consistent data set. All the melon categories are now watermelon, and our melon baller was left perfectly untouched. That is just beautiful. The basics are great, for sure, but the real magic, the stuff that gives you surgical precision, well, that happens when you click this little Options button. This is how you really take control. So let's quickly break down these key settings. Within is pretty straightforward. It just lets you choose between searching the current sheet or the entire workbook. Match case is for when capitalization matters. So Apple with a capital A is treated differently than Apple with a lowercase a. And match entire cell contents is a huge safety feature. It stops you from finding partial matches, like accidentally finding the art in the word start. Now, this one is a real game changer. You see, Excel kind of has different layers of data, and Look In lets you pick which layer to search. So in this first box, you can see that by default, Excel looks in formulas. This means if a cell has the formula equals sum 50/50, searching for the number 100 won't find it. But look at the second box. If you switch look in to values, Excel searches what you actually see in the cell. Now searching for 100 will find it. And finally, you can even tell it to look inside comments to find those hidden notes. Just a quick heads up here, something you might run into. In newer versions of Excel, sometimes when you're on the Replace tab, that look in option is locked to formulas, which means you can't directly replace the visible result of a formula. No worries though, there's an easy workaround. You just copy the cells and then use Paste Special to paste them as values. That turns the formulas into plain old numbers, and then you can replace them without a problem. Okay, now we're getting into one of my absolute favorite features, wildcards. These things are like giving your search bar actual superpowers. They let you find stuff based on patterns, even if you don't know exactly what the text is. First up is the asterisk. Think of it as a stand-in for, well, pretty much any number of characters. It's a total free-for-all. Let's look at the table. If you search for S1 star, like in the first example, Excel will find everything that starts with S1, like S101 and S199. If you search for star corp, it finds everything that ends with corp. It is so incredibly useful and flexible. Our second wildcard is the question mark. Now this one's a bit different. It's all about precision. A question mark stands for exactly one character. No more, no less. So in our example, if we search for ID-2 question marks -2023, it's going to match ID01 2023 and IDAB 2023 because they both have exactly 2 characters between the hyphens. But notice it will not match ID 101 2023 because that one has 3 characters. This makes it perfect for finding things that have a fixed length. So you might be wondering, what if I actually need to find a question mark or an asterisk in my data? How do I do that? That's where our third character, the tilde, comes to the rescue. The tilde is what's called an escape character. As you can see in the table, if you want to find a literal asterisk, you just type Shift*. And if you want to find a literal question mark, you type Shift*. The tilde basically tells Excel, hey, for the very next character, just ignore its special power and treat it like regular text. All right, we've seen just how powerful this tool can be. But you know the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. You've got to be a little bit careful, especially when you're using that Replace All button. Let's wrap this up with some super important advice. First, please be careful with Replace All. It can cause huge headaches if you're not paying attention. Always use Find X to check a few examples first. Second, if you do mess up, and we all do, your absolute best friend is Control+Z for undo. Just hit it immediately. Here's another cool tip. You can also find and replace formatting. For example, you could search for every cell with a red fill color and change it to green. But, and this is a big but, after you do that, you have to remember to clear the formatting from the search box, or your next text search won't work and you'll be pulling your hair out trying to figure out why. So, there you have it, a full guide to becoming a master of find and replace in Excel. From making simple fixes to using wildcards for complex searches, you've got a whole new toolkit to clean up your data in a fraction of the time. So I've got to ask, what's the first thing in your spreadsheets that you're going to go fix?